Chapter 14 Veronica POV. Veronica! Noah shouted, surprised, before pushing Violet off him. "It's not what you think," he said, taking a step to me. My heart was beating fast, and an uneasy feeling filled my mind. Anger started to rise within me. "Yeah, kissing Violet is definitely not what I think," I said, glaring at them and taking a step back. I feel my mark burn as feeling so strange. Violet becomes much more prominent. "Shit," I said as I turn away from them. Why the fuck am I getting so angry? I have nothing to do with him. It's not like we're dating. But I can't help but have this feeling bubbled up. "This is so wrong," I said as I ran out. "Veronica, listen to me. It's not what you think. Let me explain," he shouted, but I ignored him as I ran out his room. "Bullshit!" I shouted as I increased my pace. "I said, let me fucking explain," he said as he transported himself in front of me. I surely don't know what came over me, but I was so damn pissed off that I threw my fist at him. He was taken in for a surprise as he groans at the pain of it meeting his jaw. Shit. He kissed, but had to dodge my other attacks. "Vera, listen," he said as he kept dodging my attack. Anger was filling me as I kept throwing fists at him. But the bastard was too trained as he easily dodged my fist. "I had enough of this," he said, and I yelped surprise as he swings his leg to mine, buckling my knees. I fell on the ground, and on the process, Noah pinned me below him. "Get off me! Get fuck off!" I shouted as he groaned and moved closer. "Veronica Abras, believe me when I say it's not what you think," he said, but I was too busy feeling the closeness between us. His whole body was pressed against me, even he didn't put on his full weight. His face was so damn close to me. If I even move an inch, my lip would touch his. He looked into my eyes, and then at my lips. My breath labeled when he licked his lips hungrily. I felt my body rub into flames when his lips brushed mine. He groaned before smashing his lips on mine. The kiss was so fierce and passionate, and I responded immediately. It felt as if it was my source of living. Sparks flew over my body, and I felt butterflies fluttering in my stomach. I groaned as he bit onto my lower lips and pulled it. What you saw was not what you think it was. She came into me in surprise. I only love you, he said as he separated from me. I looked at him in trace, and my whole body was screaming for his touch. He suddenly crunched his eyebrow as his eyes went all over my face and neck. His hand suddenly traced my cheek before going down to my chest. He then looked at my hands as his eyes widened. He moved back and looked at me from top to bottom. What the hell? He said, shocked, confusing me. Noah? I called as he looked back into my eyes. Your body. He faltered, and that's when I remember. My marks, my dress, still exposed. I covered my body immediately, cursing myself for being so stupid. How can I forget? I sat up and moved away from him, trying to cover myself as much as possible. But he moved closer to me and took both my hands, exposing my marks. What are these markings? He asked as his hand traced through them. His touch burned my skin as I shivered and looked at him terrified. Veronica, please tell me, he said, his voice sounding so broke. His eyes held sadness and betrayal. I stumbled, not knowing what to say. Veronica, should you trust me? He asked as I looked at him shocked. I do, I said as he smiled and nodded. Please tell me, what is happening to you? He said as I sighed. But as I was going to answer him, Violet came in our view. Noah? She called as I tensed. Noah noticed my condition and squeezed my hand. I covered my body again, hoping Violet doesn't see me like this. Here, Noah said as he removed his jacket and helped me put it on. Thank you, I mumbled as I finished buttoning it up. The jacket is really large, so my marks are fully covered. Well, except for the ones in my face. Violet, sober yourself and go to the ceremony. For now, what you did we kept on a secret, but we will discuss it in the office tomorrow, and you will be punished for barging into my room and attacking me. Noah said, as Violet looked down and nodded. Yes, Your Highness, and I'm sorry, she said, before spit walking away. Noah let out a sigh before turning to me. We were talked about this today after the ceremony, Veronica, he said, as my eyes widen. How long would it take before this mugs disappear? He said, as he touched the mark on my cheek. It would fade once I calm down. I mumbled, pushing his hand away. Okay, he said as I nodded and looked away. Silence filled between us, and I tensed as I felt his stare on me. I can't calm down with you around, I said, looking at him through my eyelids. All right, I'll go and dress up, he said, as I nodded and returned his jacket. Thank you, I said, returning it. He nodded, taking the jacket and putting it on before extending his hand. I hesitantly took it, and the next moment I was in his room. You can stay here and calm down, he said as I nodded. He went to his shelf and took up something. Here, as soon as you calm down, teleport yourself to the ceremony. I don't want you walking around, he said as I nodded, taking the teleportation potion.